Amarie for leaving home after my husband hid my daughter's dad's voice message. I, female, divorced my late husband, Jack, 10 years ago. We both remained on good terms, and he was always there for our daughter as he adored her so much. He suffered from cancer, had a rough period, and he always said that our daughter was the reason he kept going. Unfortunately, he passed away 4 years ago. This tragedy was devastating. Everything I have from him is treasure for our daughter, and she keeps the majority of his belongings. She thought it was unfair that her dad suffered so much. She was living with me and her stepdad, Kevin. Kevin has been the most supportive one during those rough years, and he always shows my daughter love and support. Anyway, my daughter announced her wedding date. Kevin and I felt so excited for her and her fiancé. Before Jack passed away, he gave me a recording of his voice as a message for our daughter and wanted me to give it to her on her wedding day. He said he just wanted to make her feel he's always there with her. I only told Kevin about it. He didn't think it was a good idea because my daughter may get upset being reminded of her father's passing. He suggested we wait till after the wedding. I politely asked him to respect that I'm honoring her dad's wish, and he apologized afterwards. Last week, I noticed the USB stick where I keep the voice message was gone. I looked inside the box and all over the house but found nothing. The wedding is next month and I felt helpless. I searched everywhere. Kevin denied seeing it, but yesterday I discovered it was hidden in his old wallet. I was shocked, so I asked him, and he said he took it and was planning on giving it back after the wedding so my daughter could listen to it. I yelled at him asking why he'd do this, and he defended himself by explaining that my daughter might react negatively after listening to the voice message on her wedding day, and I might be accused of ruining the wedding. I was furious. I had a huge argument, then he said he was trying to help me make the right call. But the call isn't mine to make. I packed my things and left after he kept saying I was selfish and can't be reasoned with. He called my sister to tell her about our argument and how unfair I was by how I reacted to him offering to help and support his stepdaughter. Now for the top comments. Not Rahal. He's lying to you too. This isn't about her reacting poorly or him trying to protect her. He's trying to protect something, alright? His ego. He's jealous of a dead man's connection to his living adult daughter. Also, he didn't think it was a good idea because my daughter may get upset being reminded of her father's passing. Does he really think she wouldn't be missing her father on her wedding day? Because I'm like 99.9% sure that she will feel sad about the fact that her dad won't be there to celebrate with her. So, I doubt that hearing her dad's voice on her wedding day will ruin it for Opie's daughter. My grandmother, I was real close with, died 10 days after my 21st birthday a couple of years ago. Every birthday or holiday I have had since then, I did feel a bit sad that she was gone. Having the chance to hearing her voice again would actually be really nice. And if there is a chance that the daughter will not want to listen to her dad's voice at that moment, I'm pretty sure that Opie won't force her. But that is the thing. The daughter can decide for herself. Opie's current husband wants to make that decision for his stepdaughter without her knowledge. She's old enough and does have agency. Not Dayhall. I think Kevin is worried that he won't get the attention as father of the bride, because chances are Jack's recording would be a fairly hot topic. I do think you should let your daughter know about the recording at least a week beforehand. On my wedding day, I was an emotional mess. And if something like a recording my late father made for my wedding day was sprung upon me, oh man, I don't think I'd be able to recover in time for ceremony. I like this idea. There is so much going on a wedding day. She might want it a couple days beforehand, so she can take time to listen and process. Not Dayhall. Oh my god. He's jealous of a dead man. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Not Dayhall. That was not his call to make. I don't know what his true motivation was, but it feels possibly like jealousy. Now for the next story. Amarie for suggesting a prenup to my sister-in-law. My brother passed away 8 years ago, leaving my sister-in-law Nancy and their son. Nancy remained very close with our family, in part because she has inherited my brother's share of the family business. We were happy to hear she found someone new about 8 months ago named Drew. Today, they came to my parents for a family get-together and surprised us with an announcement. She's engaged. What puzzled us all was that the date is set for 1 month from now. Trying to pry some more information about the timeline, I said jokingly, "That's awfully fast." Doesn't even give your lawyers enough time to review your prenup. Haha. Not verbatim, but the gist. And I fully admit I just blurted the first thing that came to my lawyer mind, which was not very tactful. Drew took a mortal offense to the implication they are getting a prenup. He said they're serious and committed, and if you know it's right, it's right. And that I'm being bitter seeing my brother being replaced by another man in Nancy's family and letting emotions get the best of me. I was floored, but explained that I am not questioning their commitment. But as someone with experience in this area, I believe it's prudent in Nancy's case to have a prenup. First, she is a part owner of my dad's business. Next, she owns a house in a high cost of living area and was the beneficiary of my brother's life insurance and pension benefits that added up to over 1 million euros. It's a substantial nest egg, and she has a teenage son to think about. What if she dies? Will he force our dad to buy out his share of the business? And tank it in the process because he may not have enough liquidity to do so. How about dividing the house and the estate between him and my nephew? Depending on how they manage their assets, this may also mean that when she rebalances her stock portfolio in the future, he may then lay claim to the money that my brother left for his kid and wife. There's a million different pitfalls and variables to think through. I said they are not in their 20s starting their lives with a blank page. They are 40-something adults with complicated financial situations and quite a bit of assets. They need to talk to a professional, not me because of the conflict of interest, about debts and financial obligations, and yes, about a fair prenup that protects them both. Edit. Should have also said protects my nephew as well, but hindsight is 20/20 as they say. Drew said I'm overstepping and left. Nancy was quiet for a bit, and then said perhaps she needs to take some time to think through everything, but thanked me for chiming in, and then she and my nephew left as well. My parents said we could have handled this a lot more tactfully, but agreed it was also sudden. The whole conversation lasted like 5 minutes and took me by surprise, so we barely got our thoughts together. My parents didn't even get a chance to say anything. Am I the a-hole for voicing my opinion though? I don't think I was, but perhaps I did overstep. Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law's reaction is telling. She hadn't considered it, and it is a substantial amount of money. His reaction, combined with hers, makes me wonder if he's been a bit pushy with the relationship/engagement. Your delivery was blunt, yes. Maybe a private conversation with her would have been better, but it needed to be said. Yeah, Drew's immediate explosion is really fishy. Either he's emotionally immature and can't communicate in an effective way to say, "OP, your comments are hurtful," or he's nefarious and specifically doesn't want a prenup. Either way, sister-in-law needs to be protected. I might get downvoted for this, but here's the reality of prenup agreements. Mostly, men seek them. It's beginning to change, but it's nowhere near as common for a woman to get one as it is for a man. Even among people with assets, house, business, etc., men are by far more likely to have their future spouse sign a prenup. The general defense is that it's just a smart thing to do and she has no reason to be offended or reluctant. Women, however, are usually very reluctant to even broach the subject of a prenup with their fiancé and fear to actually go through with it. Because they believe, correctly, their fiancé will be angry. Men do not like being asked to sign a prenup. They get incredibly offended as it's humiliating to them. Prenups are for gold diggers. Translation: prenups are for women. Not a-hole. I think this says it all. Nancy was quiet for a bit and then said perhaps she needs to take some time to think everything, but thanked me for chiming in. Drew is either really clueless or he is a scoundrel and Nancy needs to think on that. I frequently suffer from foot-and-mouth syndrome. I vote not a-hole. You quickly recovered and pointed out there are a lot of things that need to be settled before the wedding. If you would have pointed out the same thing for a friend as you did your sister-in-law, then no harm, no foul. I would reach out to sister-in-law and make sure there are no hard feelings if she felt embarrassed or anything though. Oh yes, I am giving her a day to think things through, but we'll reach out and apologize. And thank for that foot-and-mouth syndrome comment. Gave me a chuckle and broke some of the uneasiness I've been feeling all afternoon. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to be the babysitter at my friend's wedding? So I, 22 female, love babies. I always wanted kids, but I want to wait until I'm married to have them. I don't mind watching kids at all. But I dread going to an event and everyone just dumping their children on me just because they know I like kids. My friend is getting married this fall and she asked if I could watch her kid during the wedding. I said yes because he would be 2 by that time. Her kid liked me and he's just a chill kid overall. Last month, my friend and a couple of others had lunch together to plan more of her wedding. I was at work and unable to attend. They decided that since I was okay with watching the bride's child, I should be okay with watching everyone else's kids too. They decided to set up a daycare-like area at the venue where I would watch the kids. I didn't even know they planned this until yesterday. I told my friend that I would only watch her child. That's all I agreed to. She argued that since I work in pediatrics and I actually like kids, I should have no problem handling 7 to 10 kids. I told her no. I only agreed to watch her child because it was her wedding. I tried to reason and say that if the other parents were willing to pay me for watching their kids, then I would be fine with it. But she said that she didn't want to make them pay for something that should be free. Am I the a-hole? I kind of feel like one now because she said that 2 families aren't coming because they were under the impression there would be free childcare at her wedding, and she's saying I ruined her wedding. Everyone else is telling me to just be nice and help her out because she's already stressed enough. Now for the top comments. Do not go to this wedding. And to hell with your friend. She is not a friend. She's a user. Not the a-hole. I also wanted to point out that this friend paid for a venue that is large enough to accommodate an area for daycare that is presumably separate from the ceremony, the reception site, but never budgeted for her childcare or anyone else's, and now wants you to do it for free. Oh my god. Not the a-hole. It's customary for babysitting at weddings to be free for guests, but the babysitter still paid for it. And why would you go to this wedding just to be a babysitter? You wouldn't be able to enjoy your friends at all. This is a crazy ask of your friend. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get dressed up, do my hair and makeup, buy a gift and a card, drive to the venue, all to watch children the whole day for $0. Okay, yep, no problems there. I'm petty, so I'd enthusiastically apologize and agree to watch the kids. Then on the day off, block them all, throw on some comfy clothes, grab some food and a drink, and binge on some Netflix. Forget fake friends. Who needs them? Not a-hole, but don't go to that wedding. It isn't worth it at all. It's a pity you can't make that wedding after all, isn't it? Yes, great Aunt Gertie needs to be driven home from the hospital that day. It can't be helped. If your so-called friend isn't grateful for you minding her child, why would you go at all? As for signing you up to mind up to 10 kids for the day, that's pure a-hole territory. As for the people telling you to just be nice because the bride has enough on her mind, tell them to feel free to volunteer in your stead, because you won't be there at all at this rate. I honestly won't go at this point. She's not answering my phone calls or responding to messages. I already took the weekend off, so I may go hiking instead. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not attending my sister's wedding to avoid our terrible parents? My 23 female, sister 28 female, and I grew up with horrible parents. Mom's a mean drunk, dad's an enabler, and her enforcer. Everyone's got mental health issues that they can apparently handle and therefore don't need therapy. Spoiler, they do. I was a quiet kid, and I don't know if the denial gene just happened to skip me or what, but I left home not long after my 18th birthday and never looked back. I was broke for a while, but hey, at least I didn't live in a madhouse. Plus, I found free therapy. I didn't talk to my parents at all, and only rarely talked to my sister because she's still very much the golden child of the family. Anyway, things are great now. My sister ended up realizing that I made the best choice for me. And even though she still has a really good relationship with my parents, she says they have mellowed out over the years. She doesn't really talk about them unless it has to do with her directly, like mentioning that our mom is babysitting her son or something. My sister and her longtime boyfriend, the one she has her son with, are getting married next year, and I was invited to the ceremony. I thought about it long and hard, but I ended up saying no for the following reasons. 1. If our parents are there, which they will be, it will make me vastly uncomfortable to be around them. 2. If our parents are there, they will be, it will be the first time they see me in 5 years. And 3. I don't want the reunion of me and my parents to be the focal point of our wedding day, as I am almost entirely certain it would end with a fight, because, well, they're crap. I pretty much said it exactly the way I just typed it out. I don't try to hide my disdain for our parents, but I also don't go out of my way to badmouth them. I was just being honest to say, hey, I don't like or trust these people. Can't be around them, even though I love you dearly. She said she'd talk to my parents, and they said they'd be willing to tell her when they're leaving, so that way I can show up after they've gone. But that sounds like not something I want to do. I don't like having a game plan that involves them at all. And even if I did, I could see my mom and dad leaving at 7, me showing up at 7:30, and then surprise, they never left at all. I do not trust their word. She told me that she's really hurt by my decision not to show up and support her, and asked why I've put her in this situation where I refuse to compromise and she has to be the go-between. I insisted that she doesn't have to, but she feels torn. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It says a lot that your parents are not reaching out to you to make amends and they would rather leave the wedding. It sucks you were put in this position. I mean, it's probably better that way given Opie doesn't have to interact with them at all. No a-holes here. Honestly, you and your sister are in a horrible position. You don't want to make the wedding about you, but she desperately wants you there. Could you compromise? Invite the two of them somewhere to do something special? I don't know, just a thought. I think this is a good idea. Emphasize to your sister that your feelings, which are totally valid, aren't the biggest issue. But the fact that your parents are likely to cause a scene and you want her wedding to be memorable for good reasons, not bad. Your mom is an alcoholic and her behavior will be unpredictable.